Punishing Fire lands. Let's go. Wait, hold on a second. How much toughness does Tamiyo have? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And today we're going to kind of do a throwback video. We're going to basically play a lands deck from many years ago. And let's start in the present and work our way backwards. So this is an example of what a current lands deck looks like in Legacy. And the design is very different from how lands was a few years back when, say, the SCG circuit was in full swing. These days, many of the lands decks are built around Urza's Saga. It is an incredibly compact win condition that doesn't require much other support, as long as you have the ability to activate it and a handful of situational things to tutor up. You don't need to do very much work to win with an Urza's Saga. And current versions of the deck are often running Malevolent Rumble as dig and have long-term plans like use a Thespian stage to copy a Urza Saga and then make a stream of Urza Saga tokens forever. The Dark Depth stuff is still there, but Urza Saga has become more and more the focus of the deck. And I got a message from Matthew that was basically like, hey, I don't really like Urza's Saga. I miss the good old days of lands, back when we did gamble stuff and we did Punishing Fire. How bad would it be if we tried to force that in current Legacy? And so here is Matthew's deck that I am going to play with no changes. This goes back to a much more classic version of lands where you hope to Punishing Fire your opponent into oblivion. In case you weren't around for this combo, you'd use Punishing Fire, deal 2 damage to your opponent's face, or one of their creatures. You then can gain 1 life, making a red mana with your Grove of the Burnwillows. And you can do that to return Punishing Fire to your hand. And sometimes you might have Grove of the Burnwillows and say a couple of Taigas and multiple Punishing Fires. You might use this one trigger to return multiple copies of Punishing Fire. And this can be a way to lock down the board if smaller creatures are involved, and it can ultimately be a win condition. And versions of lands used to use Gamble as their way to find their life from the Loam if it wasn't already in the opening hand, or if you already have your Loam, it can be your way to find Silver Bullet lands. Now, ahead of time, we know that Punishing Fire has fallen out of favor, right? It simply does not remove a bunch of common Legacy threats. Your Barrogoyfs, your Murktide Regents, your Tamiyos, Punishing Fire won't always do what you want it to do. And so our question today is, how playable is it to do this whole Punishing Fire thing? And we'll find out. There are a couple of cute pieces of tech in this list that I want to highlight. The biggest one is Hall of Heliod's Generosity. For 1 and a white, you can put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library. And something that I have talked about a lot while playing assorted lands deck lists, especially the Lumra Living Wish lands, is that your hands that have an Exploration or a Mana Bond are just way better than the ones that don't. And Malevolent Rumble is a way to fish for your Mana Bonds and Explorations. Well, we're trying to play an old school version of this deck, so we're cutting out a lot of the new cards. All of Heliod's Generosity is a way for you to keep dredging with life from the Loam, but eventually end up being able to get an Exploration out of the graveyard. Since it can get enchantments back, and Walk-in Closet is also an enchantment, it can also give us a way to play our lands directly from graveyard, which is kind of neat. So this is a challenge today, and we'll see how well we can do playing very old school lands. And as always, if you need a tabernacle or 4, please consider getting them from my sponsor, toamagic.com. And when you do, you can use my promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. And for those of you asking, yes, a tabernacle has been bought previously using my promo code, as have a bunch of dual lands. But, you can also get your cheaper cards from them too. They'll have those too. All right, with that being said, let's battle. Oh, the boomer shit. It is here. Turn 1 exploration into gamble. Life from the loam. Fuck yeah. Let's do it. Alright, let's ignore this upkeep stop. I'm not playing the deck that requires that anymore. Mox Diamond, even. I'm into that. Forest, I think I'm going to Mox Diamond now. And then I will play my cards around a daze. I'm very far away from wanting Thespian Stage for stuff for the most part. I also don't even know if my opponent is playing a creature deck yet. I think I'm going to discard Maze of Ith. So there's Exploration. Good enough for a response. We've got a Tundra. Actual factual Spell Pierce. Playing around days wasn't enough. Well, let's go gambling. There's a Life from the Loam. We have discarded the Thespian Stage. So I don't have the bonus land drops that I would like since my opponent had Spell Pierce. What deck is likely to play Spell Pierce right now? I guess a control deck of some kind from the look of things here. Well, we're prepared for Force of Negation, I guess. 2 targets with Life from the Loam. My cat Poe in the hallway is absolutely losing his fucking mind over what I think is a straw. If you hear any weird scampering noises, that's what's going on. You buy them all the toys in the world, and they find a straw or a ring from a milk container. They just lose it. Covered Island as the follow-up there, and a Ponder. I'm going to dredge Life from the Loam. I'm looking for a wasteland for this Tundra. I mean, I suppose I'll take a Dark Depths if I must. Tabernacle and Dark Depths, please. That is Force of Will pitching Snapcaster Mage. I'll dredge next turn and try again. And honestly, I might even just play a Wasteland before going for the immediate Dark Depths. My opponent's deck is going to be a Swords to Plowshares deck of some kind. They might actually be Jeskai, and we haven't seen the red yet. Hey, Swords to Plowshares. Dredge Life from the Loam. Let's do Dark Depths, Tabernacle to be annoying, and Adawara. 1 and 2. We're in this for the long haul, I think. Opponent fetches. This will die to a Punishing Fire, so I will probably pick up my Punishing Fire this turn. Opponent just says no. Reasonable. Alright, we are red. There is a fear that my opponent has Game 1 Magus of the Moon, I guess. 4th Aerlingas, yes. So this is a good news, bad news situation. The good news is I'm not going to lose to these tokens. The bad news is that my opponent is going to become the Pretty Pretty Princess and get an extra card every turn, which makes trying to wasteland them into Oblivion a little bit harder. Let's get Punishing Fire back. You get your card. I will keep dredging. Or do I just take a draw? Extra land drops are really strong here. Maybe I'll take a draw. That's kind of like an extra land drop. I'm okay just playing that. Now I will make my opponent pay for those tokens. Then let's go ahead and melt one of those tokens. And I'll use my remaining mana to make another copy of Grove of the Burn Willows. Or maybe a Volcanic Island since I have an Adawara in hand. Take 2. Yeah, let's make a Volcanic Island. Yavimaya enables this by making Tabernacle. Alright, Snapple, I have a great idea for a new flavor for you. Let's talk about licensing. My rates are affordable. I'll take a regular draw. Just Windswept Heath. I'll throw Maze of Ith into play, pass the turn. Opponent brainstorms. Maybe since this deck isn't playing Malevolent Rumble, looking for 1 of 5 cards doesn't make sense. I guess I can also hit the remaining 3 gambles. And I guess I've already used 1 exploration. Maybe I should just be dredging. So there's that trigger. Opponent pays. Let's do this song and dance. Punishing Fire that token. I can maybe wait. I have Maze of Ith. 19. Plateau, Flooded Strand. There's a Tameo. Does not die to Punishing Fire easily. I do have this. Opponent gets their extra Monarch draw. I guess let's dredge. Karakas would be cool to find. Negative. Just a Taiga. I think I have another Taiga. I will fetch here. Get that other Taiga. Then loam back these. The Windswept Heath is now a dead card. There's Flame of Honor. This is not flipping the Tameo. Alright. So I think I'm going to let the Tameo do Tameo stuff for this turn. And my plan is going to be tap Grove, return both copies of Punishing Fire, double Punishing Fire Tameo. Fucking Jace the Mind Sculptor? Wild. Resolves. So this will flip the Tameo. I think I'm just going to bounce Tameo out of play. Get out of there. I don't know that I want to try to Punishing Fire through 2 Planeswalkers at the same time. Tameo comes back. Now you can have a life. I'll return 1 of these instead of 2 because I auto-warrowed. Then this stuff happens. I will keep dredging. Alright, there's a Wasteland. Let's start by attempting to take out Jace. So, Punishing Fire Jace. Force of Negation. Don't love to see it. Now I can return a Punishing Fire, and it doesn't kill either of these. Alright. Otawara, Boseiju, Wasteland. 1 and 2. I can Otawara Tameo out of play. I have 5 loyalty to go through for Jace. I almost need more mana than what I have. I don't know that I'm wastelanding my opponent right now. Alright. The good news is it's hard for me to die. Bad news is it's also hard for me to win. My Dark Depths is just not beating the Swords to Plowshares until I wasteland my opponent off of 3 different white sources, which takes forever. I think this happens. And I think I plan on double Punishing Fire a Planeswalker out of existence. That's annoying. Alright. Return Punishing Fire. I think I have to kill Tameo first because Tameo threatens Force of Negation again. Alright, so now that resolves. Opponent will just Teferi plus. I have to make all my decisions on my own turn. Alright, cool. It's not Magus of the Moon. Magus of the Moon as a follow-up there would have been devastating. Alright, then my opponent gets their extra card. Guess I'm trying to find another Punishing Fire. Woo! Another Punishing Fire. If I return 2, I can cast 2. Turn, cast. Alright, nice. Return 1. Return 2. Cast 1. The instant speed Ponder because of Teferi. By Tameo. Mr. Percy wants the window. That is a Force of Will as a temporary stopgap. I have another Punishing Fire. So this is, in theory, fine. Let's see if there is yet another pitch counter. Okay, there is not. What am I doing with my remaining mana? Am I starting the Wasteland train? I think I am starting the Wasteland train. I'm going to end up Boseijuing another one in this turn cycle, I think. One pays. Land drop. Fetching. Jace begins to do Jace stuff. Could maybe Boseiju in response to that. Another Tameo. Flame of Honor. Yep. I guess there's also timelines where I deck my opponent because they can't kill me. But cards that look like this are pretty good at killing me in one go. Alright, they're just going to bounce the Thundertrap Trainer, thinking they're not going to get through in combat. They would have gotten through for 1 damage since I intend to Boseiju. I don't know that that would be clear at all to them, though. Thundertrap Trainer comes back down, getting a Force of Will. Alright, I'm going to be a little lazy with my timing here. This is a we're both likely to time out in this match scenario. I have both Life from the Loams in hand. I'll need to get a Ghost Quarter at some point. Ooh, nice. So there's the life. Return both. Punishing Fire on Jace. Punishing Fire on Jace. Alright, there's Force of Will. Life from the Loam. Target Wasteland, Boseiju, and Ghost Quarter. 1 and 2. Play Grove. Pass turn. Drawing Groves is great. That's a way for me to get extra red mana because I don't have red fetchables remaining. And honestly, I think Clock is such a concern that I'm just going to return Punishing Fire to my hand now lazily, which is not something that I should do, but I think this is saving seconds through F6ing matters a lot situation already. Alright, Jace Brainstorms flips the Tamiyo. Killing Tamiyo, so Force of Negation doesn't come back is priority 1, and then we'll go after the others. Land drop. Snapcaster Mage. Oh, Snapcaster 4th Aerlingas is probably very, very good here. We never found a crop rotation or something to be able to Bojuka Bog that and take that out as a possibility. So I take a ton of damage here. I probably die the following turn. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just Punishing Fire all of this. I have to do it on my turn, though, because the fairy. Don't dredge. Thespian stage. Okay. So now I have to address the things that are directly killing me first. So there's one. Then Grove. Return both. Punishing Fire 1. Punishing Fire 2. I'm just going to always yield to these. Take out 2. I Maze of Ith one of those. I will Wasteland a White Source. Pass turn. Opponent has Tabernacle things to think about. I imagine they are paying for both. They don't need that much damage to kill me. Tamiyo can minus for Force of Negation here, which is not great. Oh fuck, Tamiyo can minus for 4th Aerlingas, and that kills me. Damn it. Okay, I'm not eating 4th Aerlingas immediately, which is nice. Oh wait, no, Snapcaster already did 4th Aerlingas. That's gone. Okay, cool. Not immediately dead. Just in bad shape. Oh, Fate Sailing. Yeah, sure. Fairy pluses as well. Tamiyo pluses as well. Alright, so opponent is just going to the moon with all of these. Hate that for me. And that is an Offspring Thundertrap Trainer. Alright. So now what do I want to do? Now I probably want to force my opponent to give me 20 life. Remove as many creatures as I can while leaving open Dark Depths as a possibility. My opponent left my card on top, so I will just dredge. Alright. If I somehow stay alive, that's a good card. I don't have time to fully plot this out. I'm going to assume that this roughly works out. So, Punishing Fire a Duder. Punishing Fire a Duder. Don't pay. Alright, opponent Force of Wills. I put Dark Depths into play and pass turn. I think I can Maze Snapcaster Mage, take 2, go to 1, and then force. Oh no, my opponent's at 22. Fuck. Punishing Fire. Okay, no. I will Punishing Fire to finish them off. I think it's okay still. Force of Negation returned. Don't love it. Can't make the Marit Lage during combat. That has to be afterwards. So Maze Snapcaster. Go to 1. Jace Fate Seal. The Fairy Bounce. It doesn't have a Lightning Bolt effect, right? Yep, okay. Thundertrap Trainer. Opponent making my life tough for me here. I copy Dark Depths. Keep the one with no ice counters. Oh no. This happens on Magic Online now. That is actively upsetting. Put some respect on my boy Marit Lage. We can destroy my indestructible creature, that's fine. Secret, sneaky, final Punishing Fire. Attack your face. Please don't have Prismatic Ending, I guess. Oh wait, no white mana available. Wait, no white mana available? Okay, so opponent wants to block. Understood. Oh, now I have to do math. Oh wait, I don't have blue mana. Never mind, I don't have to do math. Punishing. No, I can't. Fuck you, Teferi. Fuck. Fuck. Alright. So be it. We will do this a different way. Punishing Fire a Duder. Force of Negation. Understood. I can cast one more. Alright. Red. Return, yes. Return, yes. Punishing Fire a Duder. Make a land drop. Pass turn. Dress down, gets sacrificed. I have Maze of Ith for the one creature that's in play. Damn it. I think that now gets me. Opponent pays for both, attacks in, I take 1. So close. I thought we had pulled that one out despite all of those Planeswalkers being in play. GG. I have a few different ways that I can approach the sideboarding here. I think I always need these to kill the Planeswalkers. I think I always want these just for the value that they represent. I think I'm not into crop rotation. My opponent has a bunch of counter spells, and I don't think having this is all that great when Teferi is there. I can also go these effects and try to make my opponent's spells clunkier. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I don't think the Tabernacle is all that effective. It is my one way to permanently kill all of the creatures, though. Maybe it's fine. I need to trim one land of some kind. All matters. Could go down one wasteland. My opponent has a fair number of basics. Ghost quartering them out is not quite as effective as wastelanding them out, but this is fine. This is a reasonable mix of lands and spells that does not have access to a life from the loam, which is like very easily the most important thing. I think I will ship this. I'm not excited about this. I'll go to 5. I just need to find a life from the loam for my hand to be reasonable in this matchup. Okay, there's a life from the loam. I'm keeping 4 of these cards, which means Pyroblast is going. Then this is a lot harder. I think I want access to this card as a singleton. All right. This is YOLO. I am dead to a Force of Negation immediately after triple mulliganing. But if this works, oh buddy. Nice. All right. I legitimately do not feel like I can now win this matchup without Life from the Loam. We need Walk-In Closet. That's rough. There is a Tameo. Read a sacrifice? Read a sacrifice. Get totally blown out by Brainstorm. Yavimaya. There's Blast Zone. Okay, we got Tameo. Opponent fetches. Second Surveil land. More generally, I also think that I have already lost the match because there's 8 minutes on clock, and I can't win 2 games in that amount of time, realistically. So I think my opponent just gets to time me out from here very, very, very easily. All right. Welp. Hit ya. That seems good. The good news is Tameo kills me in 2 turns. So 1 more turn, and then draw half the deck, and I will concede to that. So I'll gamble. I can't gamble for Life from the Loam, which is what I was intending on doing. So I had to wait a turn and then gamble 50-50 on Pyroblast. Okay, that was a punt there. Still don't know that I win from there, especially given clock. All right, GG. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. All right. This doesn't do anything. I don't have both sides of a combo of either one of these. I have the exploration, but I can't really do anything with the extra land drops. I think I ship this one. No? We have to start being less picky around 5, but my god. I have limits. 4. This also sucks. All right. At 4, I will keep a mediocre pile of cards that has an exploration and hope for the best. I think I'm just going to keep... Man, it's only 4 of these. I keep crop rotation, Thespian Stage, at which case I'm not maxing out on land drops from exploration. I think I'm just going to hope to draw something reasonable and keep some land drops, assuming that my opponent has some minimal amount of interaction. I can't even spike a gamble here. Maybe that's a reason to get rid of Boseiju. 19. And a Ponder. Another Thespian Stage. Sure. Make one of those as my land drop here. Opponent cantrips again. Very fast shuffle there. Oh, are you playing Dirtily Grixis Control? That would be cool. Like, if you don't do anything to me for like 8 turns, and... Oh, nope. Danger. Opponent is on a Storm deck instead. In which case, my interaction for them is kind of minimal. Yeah. Don't know how likely that is to matter. This is something you want to be able to crop rotation for, rather than play out ahead of time in a lot of these matchups. All right, opponent is chilling. I'm going to gain access to red mana here. Oh, that's tragic. I can't both Seiju and Life from the Loam since I copied Badlands rather than Forest. Oh, this is so awkward. I think my correct line is pass the turn. Might not be intuitive why. One of the easiest ways for me to steal a win here is my opponent getting sloppy with timing of playing a Lion's Eye Diamond, and then I get to both Seiju a Lion's Eye Diamond. This is fine. So that they can't like play out all the stuff from their hand and use the LED with the timing they want. All right. I think I'm going to hold this, but this becomes Forest for more flexibility. Dredge Life from the Loam. All right, I find another Boseiju. 1 and 2. There's Dark Depths and Grove. This kills next turn. I feel like I should die. It is turn 5. I have not meaningfully interacted with my opponent. Second Dark Ritual. There's a Lion's Eye Diamond. When the next thing goes on the stack, I'm going to, attack this. Ah, I don't get my chance. Opponent discards a Gaia's Will instead. Yeah, that's an ad nause from 19. That should certainly kill me. 17, 14, 12, 11. Is that enough? Storm is 5. Alright, opponent can't flip anymore. Lotus Petal, 6, Chrome Mox, 7, Dark Ritual, 8, Beseech 9, Tendrils 10. If I stop Chrome Mox from producing mana, my opponent just gets a different land. That's not gonna do it. Is there a line where I take them off of artifacts? Maybe they don't see that. Like maybe they sack this Lotus Petal preemptively, and I can junk this for Beseech. Oh wait, that was my spot. Bam, bam. Please put something else on the stack. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. Does it? Do they just have so much mana that it doesn't matter? After casting Beseech, they could just put it to hand, have 4 floating. Yeah, okay. That did not matter. That's 20. That'll do it. GG. More of a game than I expected it to be for my mulligan to 4. And now we do this. Glacial Chasm, notably, does not prevent loss of life. It prevents damage. My Maze of Iths can be the first thing to go here. I'll probably cut Tabernacle as well. I will probably not care about Punishing Fire. That's just glacial as a win condition versus a combo deck. I will probably play Endurance, not so much for the graveyard hate, but just as something that attacks for 3. I turn Caracas into a green pip. This land exists in the sideboard, by the way, for matchups where Otawara matters a lot. And let's cut that, especially since I cut a white source. Oh, that's a weird hand. I have a Sphere, which is very good. I have a Mana Bond. I don't have green for Endurance. I'm going to try to do better than this. A turn 1 Sphere on the play is huge. Let's mulligan this. Mox Diamond, discard Ghost Quarter, play a land, cast Life from Loam, turn 2, gamble for a Sphere. I think that's fine. Given the direction this hand is going, I think I will get rid of Endurance. This is theoretical turn 2 Sphere. It might not happen, but it's theoretically there. Opponent is on 5. Junk Ghost Quarter. Play Grove. Play Loam. Now, if opponent discards me, I lose out on the gamble, and we go into operation. I'm going to Ghost Quarter all of your lands until you have no more basics. Ponder to set up. I will dredge. Ojuka Bog. So, I will gamble. Currently, 3 cards in hand, 4 cards after I pick up a Sphere effect, and I think I will do full-blown Sphere. I only have 3 creatures in my entire deck. I did keep the Sphere. There is land drop and Sphere, and now I can use my 3 mana next turn to Life from Loam, and then start doing Ghost Quarter crimes. Land drop 2. Pass turn. Lol. I wouldn't cast this turn anyway, I don't think. Bog. Drop. Ghost Quarter. There's Life from the Loam. There's Ghost Quarter. I'm going to let my opponent surveil if they are going to do that. Alright, opponent does surveil. Well, alright, does fetch more accurately. Surveils. Junks a ponder. I will now... This turns into island. This turns into probably not mountain. So I probably take my opponent off of red if I do that. Okay, I was correct. But that does allow my opponent to cast an extra spell. I guess if I Ghost Quarter in their upkeep, this is tapped going into their turn. Yep, I suppose my timing was wrong. It's, I suppose, worse if my opponent, like, boomerang basics, right? And then the sphere is out of play. So that actually matters a lot. Opponent says no to a duress and just plays out a bobble. I'd like to find an actual factual wasteland off my Life from the Loam Dredge. Bobble, redraw. Negative. I did board out one wasteland for what it's worth. So Ghost Quarter, pass turn. I'll hit this in upkeep. Yeah. Mana floated. There is the island. The Ghost Quarters from here should now be strip mines. Alright, cool. Reg. Get that card back yet again. Drop the Ghost Quarter, pass turn. We'll be going after the island in upkeep. Urkel's Recall. Sure. I think I'll now do this now, rather than potentially let my opponent brainstorm in upkeep and add 1 to the storm count. Alright. Some of my cards get bounced back to hand. I think I need to discard 1 here. My opponent has 5 cards in hand, a window to win, only has black mana showing. I have no sneaky green card. Pair with endurance here. My opponent gets to take my sphere. Ooh, cool. That's it. I'll keep Ghost Quartering you. I'm good with that. So my opponent answered the sphere, but there's other problems. I will Mox Diamond, discard some land, Life from the Loam, Ghost Quarter, some other land, 1 and 2, Ghost Quarter, obliterate swamp, and then pass. Alright, I can now take a turn off from dredging to just play endurance here, I think. Or I can fish for Dark Depths. I have 3 copies of Dark Depths would just kill much faster than endurance. Let's do that. Alright, miss. Horizon Canopy, Yavimaya, some other land. 1 and 2. Play Horizon Canopy. Pass turn. Discard some random card. I think I will take an actual factual draw first. Found another Loam. Take an actual factual draw, try to find a sphere since I have another Loam in hand. Ooh, that's not bad. So there's Exploration. Horizon Canopy, Ghost Quarter, some other card. 1 and 2. There's a Horizon Canopy. There's some other land. Pass turn. Card a card. My next land drop will probably include a Bojuka Bog. We'll just clear this out. I'm unsure exact ratios of actual draws looking for spheres versus just dredging looking for depths and trying to get this show on the road. It begins. Don't have a Boseiju or anything to interact. If my opponent does something graveyard oriented, I can try to... Well, I can 100% get a green card for endurance. Infernal Tutor. Racking for red. It's just a Galvanic Relay. Burning Wish. If passed priority to me, they did not crack LED. Oh, I see. Echo. Yes. Hand is okay. I don't have interaction. I have Wasteland, Life from the Loam, Exploration. I drew the Bojuka Bog again, which is unfortunate. Storm is 6. Opponent is passing the turn. I love that for me. That's pretty lucky, honestly. Let's try to draw a sphere effect here. It's a crop rotation. Okay. Oh, there's thinking to do. I don't want to think. Not gonna think. Wasteland, do that. Mox Diamond, discard that. Exploration, Life from the Loam with 3 targets. 1 and 2. Land drop, crop rotation, Dark Depths, win the following turn. Alternatively, I can try to get sphere effects. I think I'm just going to call this good. Here's an island. Opponent brainstorms. Here we go. Blue mana. All right. It looks like this is a setup turn, which is great for us. That's a shuffle, also great for us. Alright, looks like I win. Tap that for a green. Drop rotation, away a land. Get a Dark Depths, Thespian Stage. A Dark Depths, keep the one with no ice counters. Alright, we win. We have to do it again. Wait, I did not board out a Wasteland. That was the previous round, so I was fishing for all of the Wastelands. Okay, a little weird here. Do I want Walk-In Closet? Is it realistic to get to 7 mana to replay a sphere from graveyard? I don't know if that's realistic. On the draw, I could just fish for anything else that interacts. That is, I suppose, reasonable. Go down the mana bond if I am trying to hold more cards. Otawara might be a stretch. Blast Zone might be a stretch for relevance. There's a super niche Blast Zone line that is kind of cool. Yeah, this is fine. It's not perfect, and sometimes I just die on turn 1 or 2, but it's got a sphere. I don't know how picky I get to be if I have a sphere in the starting hand. A Pyroblast or a Wasteland or a Ghost Quarter would vastly improve this hand. There's Bobble. Opponent not cracking immediately. Another sphere. Okay. Land drop. Fetch. Taiga. Exploration. Land drop. Note, I cannot double sphere on my next turn. I will have 4 mana, but the first one makes the second one more expensive. Opponent did not crack this Bobble again. They might need Metalcraft, or they just need more time to set up. And that's fine by me. The longer the game goes, the more favorable it is to me. Alright, so my opponent is now seeing what I am going to draw. Just passing the turn. Awesome. So, Bobble. Alright. So, land drop, land drop. This costs 2 mana. I can do that before playing the first of 3 copies of Sphere of Resistance. And I'll pass. Opponent can't Boomerang Basics this immediately, which is good for me. And next turn, I can just play both. Opponent then surveils. Alright, lands deck. So you're telling me there's a chance. But my opponent kept 7. So there is some reason why they kept this hand, and I don't imagine it's those 3 cards. Oh wait, hold on. I can't play Sphere next turn. Or rather, double Sphere next turn, because it'll cost 3, then 4. But 2 spheres in play is still pretty darn sweet. We're taking a natural draw here. Alright. Not complaining. Absolutely not complaining. Good shit. Fear of Resistances will continue till morale improves. I'll just fetch. We'll just purely thin a land from the deck. Scare our opponent like we might have some blue stuff. We'll take natural draws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fair. I hope opponent does not have a Burning Wish target that can destroy 4 Sphere of Resistances at the same time. 18. There is also Echoing Truth that could hit them all out of play at the same time. All right, or Hurkyl's Recall. Yep, that's not great. Opponent only has 3 cards, though. So presumably, if they're casting that now, they have a window to win. Otherwise, you just wait to do that until you can storm off, but they don't have many cards. Okay, yep. And now there's a pause. LED. Burning Wish. Cracking LED. Lots of mana here. That's what I thought we were going to do. So this is a Peer into the Abyss. They're going to draw half of their library. It should be trivial to win from here. Storm is 5 as of now. 6, 7, 8, 9. Storm is now lethal with that Dark Ritual. So everything else that happens between here and a kill doesn't matter. Opponent knows they can go for the kill. I have 4 of a kind, which is normally very good. Not good in this exact spot. Alright, so that is the Beseech for Tendrils. That'll do. And we lose the game where we have 4 Sphere of Resistance. Unfortunate. GG. Alright, my opening hand is good. So I will Mox Diamond, discard Blast Zone, play Exploration, Now, do I care about the mana bond if I have exploration? I think the answer is no. I think I'm going to go bam, bam, guarantee my 2 land drops, do the gamble for Life from the Loam, and if I keep the mana bond, cool, and if I don't, cool. Alright, I did keep it. Alright, this is about as powerful an opening hand as I could have. Like, I have Wasteland, Life from the Loam, Exploration going as of turn 1, and I can also mana bond. Basic land. You've got it. Reg Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam with 3 targets. We'll do that around days. Actual Factual Spell Pierce for the second time this league. And there's a mana bond. Not doing anything in the short term, but probably devastating in the long term. So let's just pop this out. We're going to be in there a lot. Seems like this might be a repeat of round 1. What the fuck is this? Destroy target land or artifact an opponent controls. A controller may search the library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then draw a card. Okay. There's a forest. Grudge Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam. Target Wasteland, Blast Zone, Grove. 1 and 2. There is a Force of Will to buy more time. It is another Price of Freedom. Now I don't have another basic to search for. Wasteland. Alright, so your goal is to try to deny my deck mana. I don't get to dredge this turn. Alright. Go to Mana Bond. Land drop 3. Planisphere is fine. Boomerang basics on my Mox. Sure. My deck is 50% mana. I have missed land drops the last 2 turns. 50? Oh no, it's 35. We're well above half. Lightning Bolt face, send in 4/3. 14. I have drawn 3 non-land cards in a row. There's a Wasteland. Is reasonable given that my opponent is just going to try to keep me off of resources. The dam just breaks wide open as soon as I have 2 lands. I don't play this here. I wait a turn to cast Mox Diamond and play another land at the same time. And my Mox Diamond will get spell pierced. And we riot. Opponent's deck is presumably trying to play the 2 mana lesson card that turns into Ancestral if you have 3 or more lessons in graveyard. Okay, there we go. So, Mox Diamond. Guard a land. Play a land. Life from the Loam. Colored mana. Grove. 1 and 2. Alright, resolves. I will make land drop 2 and pass the turn. Mana Bond honestly seems fine. Mana Bond seems fine here. I just return both Punishing Fires to hand anyway. I guess the question now becomes how big can my opponent make this hero token this turn? Float blue mana for some reason, then fetch. Price of Freedom on a Grove. Sure. Do this. Return to hand. Return to hand. Still no basics. Land drop. 1 more castable spell here is bad for me, because I can double Punishing Fire to kill this card as of right now. Opponent aggressively wastelanded. That means Maze of Ith is an easy out here. I'm at 4. Dredge Life from the Loam. Blast Zone on 1 doesn't kill the token or the Planisphere. Oseju is too late. The counters are on this creature already. I can only Punishing Fire once. Don't have stage and depths. Yep, that'll do. My opponent blew up 5 of my lands. GG. I think I'm just going to play another card that produces colored mana over Bojuka Bog here. No, Bojuka Bog might matter for clearing the lessons out of the graveyard. I take that back. Maybe over Tabernacle. And to go crop rotation out versus counterspell decks. I want extra ways to play lands from graveyard. Could play Endurance. Could play Pyroblasts. Either are fine. I think I will play a couple of Endurances. I don't like this hand. It can gamble for Life from the Loam. It does so off of a Taiga, and then if my opponent blows up that land, I don't have access to my colored mana. I'm going to try to do better or equal to that. It's not great. This has problems, but I probably keep. This 5. Okay. think I am doing this. Fox Diamond, discard a land, play a land drop, immediate Life from the Loam. Alright, it resolved, that's great. I have Life from the Loam exploration going. Although that didn't mean much last time. And I guess the exploration hasn't technically resolved yet. Basic island. Cool. We're in business. None of those produce green, which is a little sad. That is a force of will itching Wan Shi Tong Librarian. Now my opponent knows that I don't have green mana. I could have like intentionally missed a land drop, not played this, and held this to replay Mox Diamond if it gets hit by Boomerang Basics. Land drop. Alright, opponent's blowing up one of my lands. That gives me an extra green mana. I'm totally fine with that. Reg, Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. Alright. I go stage here. Into exploration. Into Windswept Heath so that I can reuse that fetch land next turn. Seems good. Yeah, that's fine. You can blow that up. Ah, still no basics. Rats. But I will just get it back. I can get it and 2 other lands back at the same time this turn. And I have 2 Life from the Loams. Another Wasteland. Yep. Guess I will fetch. Gain access to red mana. Reg. Stage. Heath. Blast Zone. Let's do that differently. App like that. So there's stage. There's depths. Last turn. This leaves up Hall of Heliod's Generosity if I feel like I want walk-in closet. Amped Raptor. Sure. You may brainstorm. That's fine. Want to mix their land drop. And I'm going to go ahead and copy your Wasteland. Opponent will take out my Dark Depths. That's fine. This will give me a window to Dark Depths Thespian Stage, although Boomerang Basics is a thing, so you have to think about that a little bit. I probably just make it. Depths, Yavimaya, and Grove, 1 and 2. There's Depths. There's Yavimaya. I'm fine saying, like, have Boomerang Basics or be dead, especially since I can just keep doing this every turn. We'll pass. Yeah, this thing. The opponent does not have enough lessons. Feels like my opponent is trying to recreate the vibe of, like, a Shardless Agent Cascade deck from eons past. Alright, no Boomerang Basics. Marit Lage just wins there. So if my opponent is trying to blow up all of my lands, an alternative way to think about this is I could keep crop rotation, and in response to my lands being destroyed, I can crop rotation them away. That's another valid way to think about that card. I don't hate that. Maybe do like bam bam, bam bam, and keep the crop rotations this time. This just has a bunch of lands and an exploration. How do I feel about just having 6 lands? I think I feel okay. They are good lands. I'm not used to having to think, oh, am I ready to be beset by at least 8 different land destruction things on the opposing side of the battlefield? This is where I'd like something like Field of the Dead as an alternate win condition. Also where I'd like a Surveil land. Hey, that's very good. I think I'm going to start on basic land, despite the fact that that takes me off of red. There's exploration. Opponent says no. Land drop 2 for my opponent. That's wastelandable. Oh, this just straight up destroys any land. Awkward. Yeah, I want to use that ability. I want to look at my no basic lands. I think given how many land drops I have here, I just trade right back. Until there is a tempo-oriented threat in play, I'm not too worried about my opponent. As soon as there's like a Planisphere in play or whatever, it's scary. I don't care if an Amped Raptor sized threat gets into play, and like I boarded down Punishing Fires because I'm not scared of that card. Volcanic Island and passing. I'm gonna just put that into play as a land that is more awkward to target with opposing land destruction. Want to hit 3rd land drop. There's Amped Raptor. Alright, the Planisphere I do care about. I will both Sage you that before the creature associated with it scales up, or scales up too much. Oh, that's cute. You're going to just gain card advantage by cycling those. Sure. Windswept Heath is not what I am looking for. We'll go ahead and just Boseiju this immediately. I really just need to rip an Exploration or Mana Bond. One land drop a turn is not going to cut it here in terms of allowing me to play this and maze these creatures, especially if the Amped Raptor happens to hit another, what is this, Price of Freedom? Opponent ponders. Use that to try to set up the Amped Raptor. Feels like modern day Shardless Bug. Opponent's deck is cool. There's a Wasteland. Seems reasonable. There's Amped Raptor. What are we working with? It's just a Ponder. I will take 2 from the hero token. Go to 17. I'll do Maze of Ith as my next land drop. And cut the offense in half. And then at some point I use Yavimaya to turn it into a mana producing land. Ooh. Alright. Let's do a quick search. No basic land. Opponent gets to clock me for 4. Down to 13. Alright. Do it again. Alright. Tired of looking at my library. Amped Raptor comes down. Hits. Force of Negation. So that's a miss. I will take 2. Down to 11. Well, I want to hold this Yavimaya as long as possible. This might just be the point where I use it, so I don't take the 1 damage. Maze of Ith. Maze of Ith. Basic Forest. Big moment for a counterspell, especially for a Force of Negation. Daze. Devastating. Daze Amped Raptor seems a little questionable, but opponent's punching my face in, so it is clearly working for them. Amped Raptor again. Revealing Consign to Memory. Yeah, these counterspells do not work well with Amped Raptor. I like the general vibe of what they are doing. I'll dredge again. Maze of Ith. Maze of Ith. The Grove is the last one. 1 and 2. Alright. That is now a draw 3. That's a Force of Will. At this point, I take 6 damage from the next attack, and I think my opponent's got this. Alright, I've chatted with the opponent a little bit. They say they're a fan of the channel, and they're going to email me that deck list at some point so that I can try it out. Even if some of the Amped Raptor hits aren't ideal, being able to rebuy the Amped Raptor for value later and having, sorry, I keep forgetting the name of this card. Where's the Avatar Lesson thing? Having this as something that makes up for hemorrhaging cards on Force of Negations and Dazes and stuff is kind of cool. This is a really neat design. GG's. Alright, my opening hand is fine. I think I'm going to gamble for an Exploration on turn 1 with the intention of having Exploration Life from the Loam set up. I think long term that's better than gamble immediately for Wasteland. And let's put this extra fetch land into the graveyard immediately, getting a Taiga here. Gamble! Exploration. Did not discard the Exploration. I'm a champion. Once upon a time. Okay. Here we go. I want to do this. Grove. Hold Boseiju. Let's go Grove. Give my opponent the life for Exploration. And hold one of the green sources in hand. If this is a Landsmere, buckle up. Hope you didn't have afternoon plans. Alright. Everybody's a forest. It is looking an awful lot like a Landsmere. Their build has Ancient Tomb, presumably for sideboard spheres. There's Malevolent Rumble. Lots of good cards there. And a little Eldrazi Spawn Buddy. Gamble. Oh boy. That's a good draw, to clarify. Just makes this turn complicated. The best line, if everything works out, is gamble off of this, discard Dark Depths, get Wasteland, Wasteland you land drop 1, Boseiju land drop 2, and then Life from the Loam afterwards. But if things go wrong there, it gets weird fast. So I think I'm just going to go Boseiju as land drop 1, Life from the Loam, put a bunch of lands into hand, then gamble where I have a higher chance of actually keeping the wasteland for this turn. I think this is the best line. All right, I did keep the wasteland, the Yavimaya. All right, that worked out pretty well. Has resulted in the Boseiju being in play, meaning that I can't use it to take out an opposing exploration unless I wasteland my Boseiju first, but I mean, you can't have it all, right? Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam. Target 3 different things. 1 and 2. Ghost Quarter. Wasteland. I'll do this in upkeep in case things get a little weird, I guess. No basic land in play. So I will hit this. It gets destroyed. When it has another Mox Diamond. Ghost Quarter. Alright. Wasteland, Maze of Ith, Dark Depths. I will keep dredging. Not great hits there. I think land drop 1 is just going to be Horizon Canopy. I'm going to do that immediately. Get a little deeper here. Okay, there's a Thespian stage. I want that. 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2. Wasteland into play. And pass. Opponent has their own wastelands. If I get their lands out of play, I can Thespian stage Dark Depths at the same time. Crop rotations are a thing. I take a regular draw this turn. Basic Forest. I'm going to wasteland your wasteland. Do what you want to do about that. Opponent just lets it happen. At this point, I'm going to Life from the Loam. That's the wasteland back, it looks like. 1 and 2. Redeploy wasteland. Play a Horizon Canopy. Call that a turn. Opponent dredges. They loam. Is that Ancient Tomb? That is Ancient Tomb. Alright. There's Yavimaya. I will almost certainly end up wastelanding that. I think I need to do it immediately. Let's dredge. This turn could just be destroy Ghost Quarter, depth stage, make the thing. Crop rotation gets weird. Let's not be in a rush here. Otawara, Wasteland, 1 and 2. There's Wasteland. I think it's just time to take this land out of play while my opponent can't target another land with it. All right, you target my Ghost Quarter. That's fine. I don't have another basic. I only have 1. Then I'll go ahead, do a land drop to play and have access to blue mana if I need it. Don't expect that I will, but it's on the table. There's a Caracas. I have all these assorted things that I'm trying to get through. But I'm getting 2 land drops per turn. My opponent is getting 1. Oh, that's not blue mana. Whoops. That's a Taiga then. Glad I wasn't relying on that. Life from the Loam. Wasteland. Ghost Quarter. Some other card. 1 and 2. Let's do Wasteland. Stage. Pass turn. And upkeep, I think I'm going to Thespian stage my Wasteland before I take that out of play. I'll leave the Caracas up in case things get weird. Alright, opponent is Disruptor Fluting. I would like to Wasteland your Caracas in response to that. Alright. If my opponent names Thespian stage, I'm actually very, 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 very bad at winning the game through that. Alright, they have named Wasteland, which is fine. That probably means it's time to turn the corner on the game and just attempt to win. That's hopefully fine. Reg, Life from the Loam. Let's do this first. Ghost Quarter, Dark Depths, Thespian stage, target Dark Depths. 1 and 2. Keep the 1 with no ice counters. There's my 20/20. I'm going to leave this and this up as protection. Individual points of life don't matter a lot. Then I'll go stage, depths, and probably not wasteland. Probably grove back. Doing another life to do that. And pass. Opponent's graveyard has Caracas. Well, this is a pain. I can find my Bojuka Bog long-ish term to try and clear their graveyard. Alright. Caracas, Urza, Saga, Yavimaya. It is so much easier for them to win with Urza Saga than it is for me to win with Dark Depths. Yes. Especially with this. Alright, let's find a bog. I found a Boseiju. That's pretty good. Wasteland, Wasteland, Boseiju. 1 and 2. Boseiju, Disruptor Flute, out of play. Wasteland, Wasteland, Wasteland a stage. I think I'm actually supposed to Wasteland Caracas first. Alright, my opponent has given up. That was a slog. GG. I want these. I want these. I think I'm going to get rid of Tabernacle. It technically does things versus Urza Saga construct tokens, but I think I might just be into an extra green source here, given how many green pips these things have that I'm bringing in. I think I'm fully boarding out the Punishing Fires. There is a very, very narrow window where those actually kill Urza Saga construct tokens. So I think that is just fully out here. And I will trim one card. I want to trim Hall of Heliod's Generosity. I don't know if it is correct to, given how important the enchantments can be to breaking parity. I could trim the Blast Zone, but it's something that can get rid of opposing explorations. And the niche line of use a Thespian Stage to copy a Blast Zone. The Thespian Stage Blast Zone has 0 counters. Use that to mop up tokens. Like, that can be relevant here. I think I'm going to get rid of the colorless land. It is very hard for me to say what other card I would board out other than that. It's either don't play Endurance number 3 or don't play Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Maybe don't play Endurance number 3. Yes. Boseiju, Exploration, and Thespian Stage. And Ghost Vacuum. Damn. Well, my hand got a lot worse. A lot worse. Do this. Let's do this. Thespian Stage. Essentially, everything here is graveyard relevant. I might just get soloed by a Ghost Vacuum. My opponent can also just YOLO Dark Depths here, and it's pretty good. Malevolent Rumble. Yeah. Yep. There's a nice, tight, compact win condition with Life from the Loam also threatened. This is exceptionally bad. Mox Diamond makes it worse even. Get Boseju'd. I will pick up a Taiga. Well, that's how we win. Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, copy Dark Depths, keep the one with no ice counters, cast Gamble, get a Wasteland, keep the Wasteland, play Wasteland. My opponent is at 21 due to Grove. Probably get rid of Stage. My opponent has their own Dark Depths in graveyard. Life from the Loam, Depths, some other land still activate. I guess that's not true. Then get rid of Saga. And my Loam immediately gets vacuumed. Multiple Urza Sagas in the yard. Life from the Loam, Dark Depths, other land, spawn token activate. I'll need like a Caracas. Draw crop rotation, forehead. It's easy. Alright, there's the Life from the Loam. Depths, land 1. Ancient Tomb, land 2. Opponent makes their Marit Lage. And then there's Dark Depths. Opponent is at 19. Can I give my opponent a turn? This is 50-50 to win the game on the spot. If I miss, I just play... No. It's 100%, right? Unless there's crop rotation... No, if I gamble and it goes to graveyard, my opponent can Ghost Vacuum it out of play before I can play it. If I wait a turn on this, I can always Caracas away. Do I die if I give my opponent a turn? I'm going to go for the win now. There's Caracas. I discarded the Caracas. F. Yeah. I'm just so worried that my opponent's Life from the Loam Dredge finds an answer to this. Not this time. Could already have an answer. There's Life from the Loam, Saga Depths, and Stage. Saga is an answer to Marit Lage. It just takes a little while. Endurance and answer the opposing Life from the Loam. That's a start. Ghost Vacuum is eating me alive. Urza Saga is also going to do it. Urza Saga just is Expedition Map for Caracas. Yeah, opponent is also going to just build a robot army that easily dispatches me. Another problem is just, even if Expedition Map is not in their deck, a Shadow Spear producing a lifelinking Marit Lage is something that I also can't beat. Another exploration. Not currently a problem. Scary later on. That's a Boseiju. Pick up a tropical island. So Otawara isn't out. Down to 15. Make a robot friend. There's another Dark Depths. Grove is not what I'm looking for. Here's walk-in closet. Oh shit, my opponent did not use Ghost Vacuum in response. Hell yeah. Play Wasteland. I don't have the exploration anymore, but this means that I can Wasteland a Saga. I need to Wasteland the short-term one here. We'll deal with the long-term problem later, hopefully. Alright, yeah. I only had to do that once. So now I have stopped the tutoring, buying me another draw step. Paying the life for a Malevolent Rumble. That's this zone here. Opponent take. Alright, Thespian Stage. So they have Thespian Stage Urza Saga nonsense for days. And we are now up to 4/4 robots. Mox Diamond is not what I am looking for. Is this permanence? What does this let me cast? Cast spells from graveyard this turn, but it's 5 to unlock, so I'm not quite there. Let's go Thespian Stage from graveyard. Next turn, I can be looking at Gamble for Caracas. So I guess while everything's tapped down, maybe I copy their Urza's Saga. I'll get one of those going. So let's see if I die now. Depends on what the tutor targets are. Alright, so they have converted this into a basic land that still has all of these abilities, which is what I would like to do long term, but they have a head start on me. There's Boots. So I'm not dead to that. That's good. Yep. So secondary problem. If I answer their Marit Lage, they can make another with currently untapped lands. Alright. Hate this. I guess I do this. I guess I don't move now. I'm going to drown to the Urza Sagas. Eventually, my opponent will be able to just, like, Thespian Stage this, produce 2 constructs per turn cycle, and swing wide of me for lethal very easily. Yeah. End of turn. I will copy the robot machine. So now I have the thing. I have Otawara. My opponent has 0 cards in hand, and tapped Dark Depths. No, they still have Thespian Stage up. Okay. So, I don't have a Wasteland effect. I need one to get the kill. How do I thread that? I can't risk discarding the Otawara via Gamble. Alright. We wait for an opening, I guess. I discard Grove. I will just play that from the graveyard for the raw land drop value and pass the turn. I only get the Forgotten Cellar stuff this turn. Ah, right. That was another thing that was coming. Oh, wait, shit. I win. So I, now, since my opponent did that with lazy timing, I attack with Marit Lage. I Otawara the Marit Lage, and they die. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Did not deserve that one. We have gotten the nice from the opponent. If my opponent does that at end step, I don't know how I thread the line there and win that one. We'll take it. Oh, GG. Alrighty. Final round, opening hand is totally fine. I have a Gamble for the Life from the Loam, and I have multiple different spells that can serve as bait. In the face of Polluted Delta, I think I'm going to offer up Mana Bond to the gods of counter magic. Hope that it gets countered, and then stick Exploration. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Discard Tabernacle. Play Exploration. I'm going to make this as a regular land drop. And that is not a land drop. I will gamble next turn. Opponent fetches end of turn for a basic land. Let's figure out which blue-black deck my opponent is playing. Shocked Pikachu face. Another Exploration. I might just gamble and try to cast the Life from the Loam this turn. Loam. Alright, I do have the ability to just cast the Life from the Loam immediately. I will play Otawara. That this is played around a daze. This does require giving my opponent a life. Alright, everything that I have done so far this game has just worked. I wonder if my opponent is just going to go like, show and tell middle finger and kill me. Because they kept an opening hand that did not play a threat on turn 1 or turn 2, did not counter any of 3 critical cards. What's your hand do? Orcish Bowmasters. Resolves. Tabernacle means that my opponent doesn't get to cleanly curve out into Kaito. It seems like my opponent is experiencing some Magic Online lag. They're down a couple minutes of clock already. See how many of my friends my opponent wants to keep. It might just be sad, tap 2 mana, keep both, attack for 2. Which I don't imagine keeps up with Life from the Loam unless my opponent finds a Force of Negation. 1 down. They keep the Bowmaster though. I will take 1. That's totally fine. Brainstorm's fine. Reg, Life from the Loam. Ooh. Saga and Ghost Quarter. 1 and 2. No counterspell. Ghost Quarter, Saga. I think I'm going to Thespian Stage, target my Ghost Quarter. And then I think I will let my opponent go to their turn A with Bowmaster and destroy whichever land they don't use to keep Bowmaster. They're just getting rid of Bowmaster, in which case I'm going to attack their island. Island casts cantrips. It's possible there's another basic here. My guess is that there's 2, but I don't really know what my opponent is playing yet. Alright, there is another island. There's a cantrip. Alright, they kept. There's a volcanic island, so there's red mana in here. I will dredge Life from the Loam. I found Punishing Fire. Probably reasonable versus what my opponent is doing. I think I am into Ghost Quarter the Volk here. The red mana is probably the least meaningful. I think I want to kind of move things from phase to phase here if my opponent floats mana. What is paying life here? Redirect Lightning. Okay. You would like to destroy my Tabernacle? You got it. Let's see how this works out for you. I will pull the basic forest out of my deck. I will cast Life from the Loam, Ghost Quarter, Thespian Stage, and I guess I'll get the Tabernacle back since you don't like it. Bam. So, play Ghost Quarter, play Thespian Stage, end step, Mana Bond trigger. Say yes, I put the Tabernacle back into play anyway. Thespian Stage, target Ghost Quarter, 1 and 2. Ghost Quarter, I'll target the Volk. Alright, lots of basics. Did successfully take my opponent off of red. Kaito is hexproof and kind of annoying. Barrowgoyf does not die to Punishing Fire. This is 6 toughness. Alright, well, try to figure something out. I might end up just giving my opponent a life for no reason here. If I end up just discarding my hand to Mana Bond again, but I want to have the flexibility. Life from the Loam. So my plan to beat this is going to be literally destroy all of my opponent's lands. I guess that means Ghost Quarter now. Like, we will reduce you to 0 things in play, and then Tabernacle them all away. Do have the basic mountain. Alright. Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, Thespian Stage, 1 and 2. Wasteland, Thespian Stage, Punishing Fire. Hold on. Do I still do what I want to do? Let's just Wasteland this now. Oh, fuck. I was supposed to copy that. No. I want to copy Ghost Quarter. So Bam Bam is... Or rather, Bam Bam is copy Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter, you return Punishing Fire, so I'm not casting Punishing Fire. Mana Bond. Yes. Thespian Stage. Target Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter Mountain. Opponent floats a mana. Alright. So it is 5 basic lands. Barrowgoyf probably gets to hit me once, and then I Ghost Quarter the remaining 2 lands out of play. I also just can find a Dark Depths or a Maze of Ith. I'll take 5, go to 13, and opponent gives up. Alright. Good job, Ghost Quarter. GG. I was just very happy that my opponent did not interact with me for the first 3-ish turns of the game. Like, I got Exploration, Mana Bond, Life from the Loam, all going with 0 interaction. That was great for me. Alright, presumably my opponent either has or will bring in a pile of Force of Negations. I think I'm going to get rid of Crop Rotation, anticipating that happening. I'm going to get more ways to play lands from Graveyard. Tabernacle is a reasonable out to Barrowgoyf. I probably keep the Punishing Fires for smaller things like Orcish Bowmasters and Baleful Strix. I'm not that scared of those cards unless they spiral into Kaito. Kaito's Hexproof is annoying as fuck if you are trying to kill things with Punishing Fires and Maze of Ith. I can Punishing Fire on my own turn, not my opponent's turn. Endurance is okay. Pyroblasts are okay. Tropical Island to have more consistent access to Otawara to bounce Barrowgoyf is also not crazy. Let's get that in there, actually. That is, like, something that is very real. 1 crop rotation, 1 endurance, 1 pyroblast. Do I want to trim some lands? 1 endurance for good luck. Well, if everything works again, this hand is awesome. Also, the exploration is probably likely to get countered, meaning that I resolve the gamble for life from the loam, which is kind of a big deal. There's also lines where I just draw a green source and just go, I'm going to turn 2 archetypes combo you, without even getting the gamble involved. That's a green source. Let's start here. Saga Exploration. Alright, that is Force of Will. Kaito is gone. I think I go for gamble immediately. I think I'm not trying to go turbo. I think I'm trying to keep things that produce mana. Take the 50-50 on casting it immediately. I'm going to take the 50-50 on... Oh, no. I'm dumb. I'm going to tap one of these to gamble. Whoops. I don't know that I should have done this. I should have thought about that. 5% longer. Life from the Loam. 2 graveyard. This is fine as long as my opponent doesn't have like a surgical extraction or equivalent. Land drop 2. Opponent had tapped and untapped an island. Using to fetch the swamp prior to Ponder resolving. Shuffles. Alright, looks like we're in the clear. Dredge. Life from the Loam with 3 targets. Alright, no Force of Negation or anything. I'm going to play out Stage here and pass the turn. And as of next turn, I am threatening Stage Depths as a way to finish this game, and I can keep doing it. My opponent's deck assuredly has some number of Sheoldred's Edict type cards that can answer a Marit Lage, but assuming they don't cut this out from under me, I probably have Inevitability, and I don't have to go for it immediately. And as soon as another one of these Life from the Loams hits, and I'm not just dead to a Force of Negation, that's even better for me. Dredge, Punishing Fire, Grove as a pickup as well. Not bad. I will Wasteland here. Saga, Grove, Wasteland. I'm going to tap Mox Diamonds here. On the off chance that there's something like Back to Basics over there that I need to respect. Fantastic. I don't know that I intend on dredging Life from the Loam next turn. Now I just want to find something that gives me extra land drops to bury my opponent. I have 5 lands in hand. I don't need more. Unless I need a specific land back. Yeah, that's fine. 19. Like, this is Punishing Fire fodder. Just scary if it gets a Kaito. Alright, no Kaito. Fantastic. Opponent is chilling. I'm going to take a real draw. Seiju is kind of whatever. I think I will just go Grove here. That is another Bowmasters. You've got it. So then I'm going to just do this now. I'm going to give you a life. Say yes. I'm going to Punishing Fire the 2/2 here and just prevent that damage. Fantastic. Alright, looks like we've dodged Kaito again. We're only taking the 2. There's another regular land drop. Opponent's passing. I'll take a real draw. Caracas is kind of whatever. I want more lands in play. I also don't really know that I should turn down the opportunity to wasteland my opponent. I can also just put Dark Depths in play and float, killing my opponent at any given time. Let's do that. That kind of means that they can't just invest a whole bunch of mana in something like a Kaito that kills me quickly. Ponder away. A shuffle. Surgical Extraction on Life from the Loam. Well, that's certainly not bad. Goodbye, Loams. 2 cards? So I put them to the test. Nah. Actually, it's just always going to get it, right? If they have it. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know. Make me copy something else with your Redirect Lightning? Sure. I will make a copy of a Polluted Delta that still retains the Thespian Stage ability. I will take 2 going to 12. And I still have Punishing Fire to clean these things up. This is not actually all that scary. Another Wasteland as well. Sure. I think I will go ahead and just make this on my turn. Do the thing. Keep the one with no ice counters. I think I will go ahead and Wasteland. Want to keep my opponent off of Kaito stun since I've done this on my turn. I still get to Punishing Fire one of the 2 copies of Bowmasters. Also, opponent in very real danger of timing out about half as much clock as I do, and they don't close the game out quickly. Alright, no end of turn edict is great for me. How much life is the redirect lightning? 5? A lot. Alright, there is land drop 4. Bowmasters do not swing in. I will go ahead and get one of them now. Oseiju is the draw. Play a land. 1 card remaining. Does it answer Marit Lage? Yeah. Nimble Obstructionist. My opponent buys another turn. Block's fine. Dead Bird. Wasteland you off of red. I'll go ahead and pick up the Punishing Fire now. And pass. Alright, we do get there. So that is 2 match wins today, although one of those I think I only made because my opponent made a sloppy mistake in terms of the timing of their cards. If they wait till their end step to activate the Thespian Sage or Urza Saga, whichever it was, to make that robot, I don't know that I win that one easily. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. We played Magic today. We played Magic in 5 rounds. I think we were working harder than we needed to work. The Punishing Fire stuff absolutely did some things throughout the league, and then we ran into some Urza Saga tokens and some Barrowglyphs that Punishing Fire just lined up very, very poorly against. If you just want to play Legacy at the local level and you want to show up to your LGS a couple times a month and play your classic style lands deck, it's not embarrassing to do. But playing like this, I think is pretty clearly suboptimal. You're so graveyard focused. Like, imagine that a card like Rest in Peace or Leyline of the Void hits play. Life from the Loam is now bad, Punishing Fire is now bad, and Gamble, which usually gets Life from the Loam, is also pretty bad. And you don't get that Urza Saga. I get to have a strong non-graveyard plan in a very compact way benefit that a lot of other current lands decks do. As far as utility slots go, balance felt pretty good. It may be that you have too many colorless sources in trying to fit in all of the things in this second row here at the same time. Like, if you look at fetchables, there's very few fetchables here. And having one more basic forest in the deck would have been incredibly relevant in this league versus the assorted, like, Oseijus and whatever that lesson was. And playing Grove of the Burn Willows means that you aren't playing those fetchables and you don't have more fetch lands to find and keep reusing with Life from the Loam. So, like, there's a lot of very real downsides in constructing your deck like this. This was a slog of the league, but it was still pretty fun. I enjoyed this a lot. So Matthew, I hope this was some good data gathering for you in terms of figuring out whether or not you want to play something that looks like this more seriously. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!